The purple one is back. We get tons of Prince, tons of sexy sex, and we even get Mars singing, and he has a beautiful voice. She's got to have it. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz
Sorry, y'all.
TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now,
Back
let
to
the
reality.
buzz begin.
I am a mess, apparently, and obviously. Welcome back to She's Gotta Have It. Hi, guys.
Hey.
I'm all over the place because if you guys don't know, if you guys weren't here before, me and my ladies, we broke down episode 3 and 4, and now we're going to break down episode 5 and 6. So I think I'm just all over the place. I was really excited because it was Prince, there was sex, it was Mars. So forgive me for those who are listening and watching. I'm a little cray-cray today. And it's Memorial Day weekend. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Who do I have with me? My beautiful co-host.
Hey, I'm Mina Wahab.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Ju Jones.
I appreciate them for being there with me because I'm a mess.
Listen, Prince, Mars, and sex can get you flustered, you know?
And here I am flustered, girl.
No shame.
Very, very flustered. But like Drew said, we got a lot of all that good stuff. We do have some special segments. We have news and gossip. We have a cool segment that we're going to try out. F, Marry, Kill. Baby, there's a lot of sexing in these episodes. So let's get right into it. Let's get into episode 5, which I loved. We got Prince. It was literally a Prince theme. For those who don't know, every year Spike Lee does this thing where he does a Prince block party. He does it for Michael Jackson as well. And I've been to them before I moved out here. I used to go to them all. The one I went to was a few years ago, and it was pretty awesome. He does them in the street of Brooklyn, and it's just black and beautiful and brown, and everyone's there of color celebrating Prince. You have a block party. We have nutcrackers, which is a New York specialty. Like, you have the electric slide. We have afros. We have dreads. We have every single person at this Prince thing. How do you guys like the whole Prince theme?
I feel like you're
episode?
telling me that I need to move to New York.
Yes,
I feel
I
like
am.
that's the moral of the story. Like, why am I here?
Move to New York, Mina. It's amazing. I hope I sold you guys on Brooklyn at least and Prince. I was all in my feels because, of course, I'm from Brooklyn, so that's something that I've been going to for a long time.
Yeah.
But how did you guys feel with Prince? We got Prince music all up and down this episode.
I was like, this looks like fun. Wouldn't it be cool if this existed? And then I was like, oh, I guess it does.
It exists.
I didn't know.
I love that Spike Lee balances out like black pain with black joy because like last episode was like kind of stressful, but this episode was so joyous, and I just like it's just one of those episodes I was like, damn, I love being black. Like I love it, and I love it. Had me dead with the nutcrackers because nutcrackers will
Baby.
they will mess your life up. But I just love the unapologetic blackness. I love the little subtle Spike Lee appearance, you know.
Shout out to Spike Lee.
Shout out to Spike.
I'm like, Spike, we know that's you under the beads, and we know that's your voice. But I loved it. I love seeing Sway. Like you said, for those who don't know what nutcrackers are, so Mina, I'm going to try to sell you on New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nutcrackers is a specialty drink that we make in New York where we literally pour every single liquor that you can think of. We pour it into one thing with probably one little drop of juice.
Right?
And we sell them as nutcrackers for what, $5 maybe?
Yeah. And you just gotta kind of close your eyes and chug it.
And you drink one and you're done. And
Were they the little bottle?
Yeah.
I was like, what is that?
those are the nutcrackers. They sell them for $5 and
Yeah.
you get twisted. Like if you're at an event like that and you drink a nutcracker, it's it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I think like the closest thing to it would be like maybe a Four Loko.
Maybe.
But
'Cause-
not really because nutcracker's a different type.
Yeah,
different
so that's a
breed.
summer specialty in New York City. So to see that at this Prince event, which is pretty dope because it's gotten bigger. Because the one I went to was on the block so where Spike Lee is from, I'm literally from around the corner where he did Do the Right Thing. So that's the Prince one that I went to, and like Dave Chappelle was there, Erykah Badu, and then like it went to Prospect Park, and I loved seeing it there for the show. So I thought that was beautiful. I love Prince, and Spike Lee loves Prince as well. But at this amazing event, our girl Nola is working.
Yeah.
She's doing her promo shoot for Airwave. How did you guys feel? I do want to give a shout out to my friend Shelly. She's actually in the scene, and she's the girl getting her photo taken. So shout out to you. I thought that was really dope to see her and see everybody here in Brooklyn. But how do you guys feel about our girl working, getting some money, like making these checks, and to have the young lady Jamila be there to kind of remind her, like, I got your back. Like, we're going to make this happen. Like, did you guys feel the campaign or...
I didn't even feel the campaign element of it so much. It felt like, oh, this is a win-win. Like, she's doing what she loves with, like, random people, but then also, like, people she knows, and then it's just fun. It's like she's, like, literally enjoying an event and getting paid for it. It's like her hard work is paying off.
Goals.
It's like the moment we've been waiting for. Like, finally where passion meets your paycheck.
Goals.
Yeah. Mina, I don't have anything to add to that. Mina phrased that really well.
Like, literally goals. Also, speaking of goals, we do hear the name Ulu be brought up a few times at this Prince event. And we take a trip to his house, and he's cooking us dinner. He's giving us wine.
Yeah.
We're having intellectual conversations.
He's turning it out.
He's breaking backs.
Yeah.
Before we get there, because I got really excited, Nola and Ulu have a pretty deep conversation where they have this debate, and I know we'll speak a little bit too about it in News and Gossip, but they have a debate where they speak about Black British people versus Black American people, because he's British, and they speak about the struggles and slavery, and they share their own thoughts. What was that like for you guys? I know me and Drew talked about it earlier, but even if, like, because Mina, I know you're not Black, so do you ever feel this way as well, like in your culture where, I don't know, maybe like Americans try to compare it to, because I know in the Black culture, West Indian Black people, there's always a big debate between West Indian Black people and then like Black Americans, where we always say like, our struggle's harder than yours. No, we were here first. We were slaves. No, you don't know what it's like. You were dropped off first. And that's kind of what this conversation was with her and Ulu, where she was like, cool, you guys are Black and British and you guys had racism, but we were slaves. So have you guys ever experienced that? And like, what were your thoughts on this conversation?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've necessarily experienced anything similar to that. I mean, I'm first generation Iraqi American. My parents immigrated from Iraq, and, you know, it's crazy because sometimes I think like, wow, like, you know, I kind of got the birth lottery. Like, what if I grew up in Iraq? And like, especially with all the, like, you're talking about colonialism. I mean, there was so much of that in Iraq. I mean, first they were under, you know, British rule, and my mom was like, oh, that was actually a good time, you know, to be under British rule, because like compared to being under a dictatorship with Saddam Hussein, which was actually better for the Iraqi people, even though he was a horrible person, better than having their entire economy destroyed, and because of the U.S. invasion on the grounds of WMD. So, yeah, like, I mean, I feel lucky to be where I am. Of course, I did face a little bit of discrimination after 9/11 because I was in a school that was predominantly, like, there was no one that looked like me. It was, very, like, white, Christian, like, not a lot of diversity, and I felt a little bit of that. But other than that, I feel like there is discrimination within. Like, I don't feel like there's a huge sense of unity in the Middle East because, like, there's so many different types of Arabs. Like, you have Iraqis, you have Lebanese people, you have you have Egyptians, and Egypt is part of Africa, so it's not technically considered the Middle East, but there's, like, arguments whether it is or it isn't. But there is, like, a lot of segmentation and not a huge sense of unity. And the Arab countries that are, like, westernized are, like, take a hierarchy over the ones that aren't. So there is a little bit of that.
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion because I know me and Drew, we can speak from the Black part of it, and she can speak from, like, the West Indian Black American part of it, and I can speak from the Black American part of it, where I've grown up with my West Indian friends or my African friends even, where it's a big debate with people from Africa where they feel like Black America, like, whoa, like, you guys don't even experience it. So I appreciated the conversation that these two had because they both had their points. I think they were both valid points where there's two people on the opposite side of the world and they both feel a certain type of way. And I love Spike Lee because Spike ain't playing this season. He's literally putting it all out there on the table for the conversations to be had. What about you, Drew?
I think it frustrates me when conversations like this happen, not because they shouldn't happen, because they should, but because within the Black community, often I feel like we do sort of an oppressions war to be like, you know, I went like, and it's so frustrating because essentially colonialism wants us separated. They don't want, you know, they want West Indies in one corner and Africans in one corner and Black Americans in one corner. And when you think about it, we were all played. Like, West Indies, the reason we're West Indies because those were slave trade islands. Jamaica was a slave trade island until the, like, 70s, you know? And so, like, we weren't, I mean, obviously, well, slavery was still kind of, anyway, history lesson for another day. But I'm saying, like, we were on those islands because we were slaves. Black Americans were here because they were slaves. Black British people were over there. They weren't slaves in the same sense, but they also weren't necessarily free. And it's kind of just like we all went through the greatest struggle that we personally know, and to compare our struggles to one another and try to one up each other is just creating this divide. It's a lot like colorism. Everyone's been oppressed in some ways. Yes, you know, me as a light-skinned woman has privilege over you who's a brown-skinned woman. Like, we have different, but at the end of the day, we have struggles, and instead of trying to figure out how we're different, like, let's come together and create this, like, unified community. Yeah. And we'll talk about news and gossip, but this conversation definitely made people feel some type of way.
It sure did, but I did like at the end that they were unified and they had amazing sex. At the end of all this,
that's the answer
story. The moral of the story
is less oppression, more sex.
The answer is, guys, less oppression, more sex. I'm just saying, happy 2019. Everyone should be having sex, whether it's with someone else or yourself. I just feel like you should get those pheromones out. Okay, speaking about getting those pheromones out, Jamie Overstreet. Jamie. The clownness is showing. So Jamie, I guess, is feeling jealous that his beautiful wife is getting her back blown out by this young, handsome, weird, I don't know if he's a rapper or an actor, but dude, Andrew. And Jamie takes it upon himself to go to Winnie and hire two dudes who were supposed to scare her little boyfriend, but they end up beating the crap out of him. What did you guys think? And what did you guys think about Andrew? Because I guess he's a rapper and...
He's like, he reminds me, Loki reminds me like Jason Kennedy from like E! News.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he gives me this like...
Jason Kennedy.
Like, yeah, like he just gives me that like, I'm, you know, an entertainment reporter type like vibe. I just like... And I've had exes like Jamie. Ugh. And so I'm just like, it's just so corny to me. Like, you don't...
Is he a Leo?
You don't get to mess up the bag and then be mad that you messed up the bag.
He's
Like,
definitely a Capricorn.
You think Capricorn?
100%.
Okay, you think Capricorn,
Yeah,
Mina. What do you
100%.
think, Drew?
maybe because I'm bitter right now. I feel like he's a Libra.
I would say I'm getting Libra vibes and Leo vibes from Jamie Overstreet. Libra and Leo.
I wouldn't say Leo because he's not really a spotlight personality.
He's not, but sometimes
He's
with Leo,
practical,
now
he's grounded, but then he also has like this.
he does have that Capricorn vibe.
That's
the only reason why I say
controlling to a
Leo,
certain
and
degree.
Leos don't drag me. I'm just, you know.
I love Leos.
Leos, and that's my compatible sign. I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Those are my people. We family. So as family, it's my duty to drag them a little bit. Leo, the liar. Leos tend to do this thing where they're like, I can do my thing, but you, God forbid, you better not do your thing. Because if you do your thing, then I'm going to hire two guys to beat your ass. His ass. But okay, so we got Cap, we got Libra, and I got Libra Leo. So if you guys are in the comments, please let us know what you guys think Jamie's horoscope is. I like this game.
Yeah.
This is cool.
This is my favorite.
Yes,
it's
because
my thing.
we all love horoscopes. Living here in LA, we're like, what's your sign? We'll do that. Going forward, we'll try to guess like what people's horoscope sign is. So today, this episode will be Jamie Overstreet. So Jamie gets, you know, home dude beat up. And I just feel like you said, Drew, like, here's the thing. You can't go 20 years into this relationship and marriage and cheat on your wife. This woman, you know, probably sacrificed a lot for you. Apparently she comes from money and the dad gave you the money. But you're living your best life having sex with all these women in my face. And because I'm not sitting at home mad anymore, I've cried every tear. No, I'm not going to cry Mary J. Blige anymore. I'm not living my best life with my young boo and you're upset and now you get the boy beat up. I feel like it's going to come back and bite Jamie in the ass. And I kind of hope it does.
It absolutely does. Because the street doesn't talk, but money does.
Okay.
And the right coin will come around and someone will be speaking.
So it's unfortunate that he's acting up. But, I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do to fix his family. But he's definitely going out of his way to ruin Cheryl's life. Someone living their good life is Nola's mom. She's going back to acting and she's been rehearsing and something dope. Spike Lee made a cameo, but Spike Lee's wife made a cameo.
Looking amazing.
Hello. Tanya Lewis-Lee. So for those who don't know, she was the woman that was sitting at the table when they were doing the table read. So I thought that was awesome. But how I feel about mom, I like that now the parents are coming out and Stokely's amazing. And Spike Lee's sister who plays Nola's mom, which is crazy because I feel like I just watched Do the Right Thing.
Right.
And that was Mookie's sister. But anyway, how do you feel about mom like living her best life? And do you think this is a good decision for her? Because Stokely does not seem to be very happy that mama gonna be having sex
Yeah, I think if you're part of the older generation, it's harder to get down with something like that. I mean, like, for us, it's so easy to be like, oh, that's an artistic choice and it's going to be tastefully done. But it's like, I could totally empathize with someone who's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. Like, especially if it's her first time doing it. But at the same time, it's like her big break. Like, they should be supportive. It's not like she's doing something like... I don't know.
Porn.
Yeah.
But
well,
even then, you should support
yeah.
porn, too. You should support.
Not
Sex
to, like...
workers are important.
They are, but
like,
not if it's my mom
But, you know, like,
I
could empathize, you know, more with that. Yeah.
I'm happy that she's living her best life. And her co-star is fine. And I'm guessing that's who she's going to be having the sex with. But I am happy for her because I feel like she's the wife who probably let her husband do his thing and live his life. And Stokely is a famous musician. And I'm just happy that mom gets to step out and do her thing and have her sex scene in front of everybody.
Your passion doesn't just like fade out as you get older.
Yeah.
And I like that we get to see her like pursue her still.
And I like this is a family of artists. I think that's one of the most beautiful things. Like their daughter is a painter, photographer, mom's an actor, dad's a jazz singer. Literally, I want to live in that brownstone. Right. Adopt me, please. This was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. We got like, I think 20 minutes of a half-hour show of all Prince. We got that Prince barbecue. We got, because like you said earlier, like Spike does this thing where he will drag something out, and he dragged the Prince thing as he should. Yeah. So we're going to round this episode 5, with our top 3 moments.
Yeah.
Yes, top 3. Number 1, being Prince. We love Prince, R.I.P. to a god, honestly. It was just unapologetically black, and we lived for it. Number 2, the baby's performance.
Oh, that was so cool.
It was so cute. That little boy can shred.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna front. I don't know if that was like really him, or
that'd be dope if that really was him.
But she was serving. She was doing moves. And then number 3, obviously, the king himself, Spike Lee, making a cameo.
Yes.
Even though he was acting like we couldn't see that was him.
I'm like, we can see you in your Jordans. Like, Spike played Mars in the original movie, and I feel like Mars is Spike Lee. And if you look at Spike today, that's what Mars is going to look like in 30 years.
Factual.
I was like, we see you, Spike, under the glasses.
Like, hello.
Thank you, Drew, for bringing us the top 3 moments of episode 5. I love that episode. That was a really good episode. So let's take it to episode 6. When the chickens come to roost. What do you got? Overall thoughts first before we get into it. What were your overall thoughts on episode 6?
I just remember it being my favorite episode thus far. I really, really liked it. I just remember like even the way it ended and like the important themes, like, you know, the devastation in Puerto Rico, and there were just like so many great things that happened, and like so many important topics that were being brought up. It impacted me probably the greatest out of all of them so far.
It's a really good episode. What about you, Drew?
I was going to say, they did a great job of portraying like the devastation that Puerto Ricans are still going through. And I love that it really tugged at your heartstrings, whether you can relate to it or not. I think it was just like really beautifully done.
Yeah, I agree with you, ladies. This was one of my favorite episodes. Not because there was more sex in it, but it was a really good episode. Let's get into it. Nola is hanging out with her one of her ex-boyfriends a lot, Greer. They have been living their best lives, and Greer's in his new sexy relationship with an Amber Rose lookalike.
I was thinking that. I was like, yeah, she really does look like her.
She's hot.
Yeah. She is.
And them two together just ooze sex.
It's too much.
I feel like a threesome's coming soon.
Fly on the wall.
Or they're going to ask her for one, because it's still, you know... They've broken up 18 months ago, which isn't a long time, but like Nola said, she's like, it did catch me off guard a little bit when you brought her to the thing. But when you see these two hanging out, do you think it's a good idea to be hanging out with Greer as much as they are? Or do you think like there's past it, they're just friends?
I have friends I have people who are friends now that were my Greers in the past. And I don't like the idea that you can't be friends with somebody that you've had sex with. And I think Anthony Ramos even talks about like Mars and Nola's relationship in that article from the last episode that we were talking about. But yeah, I think as long as like you give each other a respectful amount of time to heal and there's communication, I don't see why you can't be friends with that person. Knows you literally like ins and outs. So it's like, that's a good friend to have around.
What you, Mina?
I don't think it's strictly platonic. I mean, I still think it's okay to be friends with your exes, but I feel like the dynamic between them has always been sexual, but I like how we're seeing like the dynamic now kind of shift where they're talking about things like colorism and they're talking about things where you're like, oh, Greer has a brain. Wait, what? He's not just a pretty brain. Yeah, because it's like we didn't really see that before. Yeah, we saw a little bit of the bouginess before, and we still see it with speaking French and being like really uppity, and it's entertaining for me. Like, I definitely enjoy seeing him, but I feel like there's always going to be this underlying sexual tension between the two of them. Like, there's no denying that chemistry. Yeah. So when you made the joke about the threesome, I think that's a reality.
I think I see it too. I see it. I'm here for it. I do think, because she played it off like she was okay with Greer doing this thing, but when she did say, it caught me off guard a little bit when she's seen, I think they're... Like, I think it's one of those things, look, I'm friends with literally all my exes. Hi.
Sagittarius.
We love everybody. I'm cool with them, but there are a few that I'm not going to lie, like, though I may not want to be with them anymore, there's a little, like, somebody may come around, I'm like, oh, they do have a new boo. Okay, hey. Oh, wow. I didn't think I cared. So I've had those moments, but I think you definitely can be friends with your ex, but it does get a little tricky, though, because... they, to me, are still... Like, I do see them asking for a threesome.
It feels fresh still.
I see it coming. And, like I said, Greer and his new girlfriend just ooze sex. Mm-hmm. They're, like, the most beautiful couple I've ever seen. But, it can be tricky. But I think, like Drew said, I feel like we could just all get along and hang out. Now, there's some exes you may not ever want to hang out with. But I'm pretty cool with most of mine.
I feel like Greer's a Libra.
Okay.
And I feel like the Amber Rose girl is like a Gemini. Like, she's like free spirit. Like, I don't know.
What do we think Greer is? So you think he's a Libra?
I think he's definitely Libra.
And you think she's...
I think she's a Gemini because she seems like, free spirit. And they seem like a really good match. Like, Gemini, Libra.
Okay.
I think he's... a Virgo.
Ooh.
No,
he's a Virgo.
Even a little.
You think he's a Virgo?
I feel like he's a Virgo.
He's so Libra because he likes... Okay, here's the thing. He's a Libra because he likes the finer things in life. He's very bougie. Libras are also ruled by Venus, which is the planet of beauty. He is all about aesthetics. He loves things that look good, that taste good, that are refined. And also there's a part of him that is kind of diplomatic where he can have intellectual conversations and he can see different sides to an issue. So I feel like he is...
You say Libra. You say
Virgo.
I say he gives me...
Ooh. He's an air sign for sure. He's an air sign.
Let me see what you got, Nakia, because you're really good with this.
He's not grounded.
I say either a Scorpio.
I could see a Scorpio.
I could see that too.
Or a Gemini.
I could see that too, yeah.
Or a Taurus.
No. Mm-mm.
Yes. He reminds me of a few of my exes who are all Tauruses. But I think if I had one choice, it would be the Scorpio. Because... and I see her being a Scorpio because to me, Scorpios ooze sex. They literally can just walk into a room and not say anything. They give off this air like, have sex with me. Like, they're just very passionate people. So I think he's a Scorpio. Guys, in the comments, let us know. Right now we have Jamie and we have Greer. Let us know what you guys think their signs are. Let's go to my favorite ex-boyfriend, Mars. Love him, and then we'll do Mars' sign after. Mars and Chloe have sex. Let's just get straight to it. For those who don't know, they have a past history where they hooked up from season 1. They make it seem like Chloe had a crush on him and he ended up going with Nola. What we kind of find out in this episode is they were hooking up and she got pregnant by little bitty baby Mars. And she's always hooked away by, and then he left. He didn't know she was pregnant, but then he ended up hooking up with her best friend. What are your thoughts on Chloe and Mars? Do we like it? Should we not happen again? Because she was kind of being mean to him after too.
I really like Chloe and Mars, but I think Chloe is kind of the Opal and he's the Nola. Yes. And it's like you really have to check how you talk to people really have to check inner self before they get into relationships, and I think Chloe is one of those who needs to learn how to speak to people because you don't get to be out of pocket for no reason, and you can't get mad at someone for doing something that they didn't know that they you know what I'm saying, you can't have this anger towards him about an abortion when he didn't know, right? So I don't know,
or even knew you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And we, Chloe is going through some things right now. Danton, is that his name?
Ugh.
Danton. Her sugar daddy boo, who's like the owner of the art gallery. We see
he's so mad.
He's doing a thing where it's gonna be Chloe versus Nola, where Nola's standing behind this campaign because he came in and gentrified and closed down the bike shop where Mars worked. And that's what Mars and Nola are trying to explain to Opal. See, she's Opal. Chloe, but Chloe looks at it like, this is my man. I work with him, and homeboy's not happy about it, and he's also kicking her out of the gallery. So I feel like she's going through a lot this episode, and just and I don't think she's good with expressing herself. So I think just for her opening up and telling Mars like, oh, by the way, I was also pregnant.
I think Chloe goes by the simulational. Like, she's very, like, stick to the status quo.
Yeah.
I think it frustrates her that Nola is so, like... Because I think in her eyes, Nola's taking the harder route. And she's like, let me just help you. There's money on this side. There's, freedom on this side. And Nola's more of a, if all of us can't go, I don't want to go type.
Yes.
And I think Chloe is very, like... She's one of those,
practical.
New black people with money where it's like we just forget about where we came from and we just make the coin.
What Stokely said in episode, when she gives a breakdown of Stokely saying with the black people who went to Martha Vineyard, there's black people who think someone like Chloe is like, listen, because she's standing next to him as he's giving this horrible gentrification speech, and her friends are on the other side holding up signs protesting, and she's standing next to her man like, it's fine, like, is it though?
And it's interesting watching because they've subtly mentioned, like, Nola subtly mentioned, like, where she is with Chloe, and so I have a feeling we're gonna have to see a blow up soon. But yeah, Chloe's definitely drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, a mess. But I did enjoy her and Mars having sex because there's been a lot of sexual chemistry. It was short-lived. There's a lot of sexual chemistry between the two, and she already seemed aggravated. And even in season 1, I was like, they're definitely going to get it in. So I was happy to see Mars. And anything with Anthony Ramos with his clothes off.
I love him.
It's QT. The kids. The babies.
Listen.
Skylar and Virgil. I think adults think
I love it.
Kids have no idea what's going on in life. The babies know what's going on, and they know all the drama where Skylar is braiding Virgil's hair. So cute on a stoop. It reminded me of the movie Crooklyn, so that's what it took me to. Shout out to you, Spike. But Virgil, opens up to Skylar because obviously Skylar knows that her mom and Nola dated, and they both know who Nola is. And Virgil's like, Nola messed up my parents' marriage. That's why they're getting a divorce. Why don't you hate her? And Skylar's like, no, like, that's the homie. She's like my fake stepmom kind of, and I don't think she knew. And they have a moment, and it gets Skylar ready to confront her ex-stepmom, and she does just that. She confronts her ex-stepmom and literally blatantly says, did you know that Jamie was married when y'all started effing? And she said the word. I'm bleeping it out, but she said the word. I was like, that's so cool. She said the word like 10 times on set. So I wonder like what it was like for her working on set, and her parents are like, all right, enough. Let's say no more. What were your feels with the kids expressing themselves, and then with Virgil confronting his parents, and then Skylar confronting her ex-stepmommy?
I feel like we, like what you said, we so often underestimate, like, the maturity of kids, and, like, they know what's going on. Like, kids aren't stupid. Yep. Kids know, like, what's going on. They're very perceptive. They have, like, this keen sense of what's right and what's wrong, and I think sometimes they can't see the gray. So we see that with her, like, the way, Skylar is explaining, oh, it's not complicated. It's just, like, not palatable or, like, messy.
Unpleasant.
Yeah, unpleasant. And it's true. It's like sometimes, adults are going to be like, oh, you're not going to understand it, because the kids will make a judgment and think, oh, this is bad, this is good, versus, okay, like, if you come at it, and I'm not justifying bad behavior at all, but if you come at it with this perspective that people are doing the best they can with the mindset they have and whatever they're going through at that time, then you can really, like, develop a sort of empathy for, like, why people make bad decisions or why people do destructive things. And it's not justifying it at all. It's just, like, that's the peak of their potential. They didn't do their best that they could ever do in life, but they did the best that they could do in that moment.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. I thought, like, her calling out Nola was hilarious. I was like, how did you get here? Like,
Facts. I'm like, wait.
What? Like, how do you go from school to here? Like, what the hell is this?
I just knew it wasn't real life because...
Yeah.
The way she was sassing Nola, and the way she sassed her mama, and the way Virgil sassed his dad, I'm like, no one's choking? I mean, like, that's not good, but I would at least got the threat. Like, in my household, we got the threats. Like, I will yoke you up from this porch.
I brought you into this world. I will take you out.
So I was just shocked that they weren't like, fam, we can shoot the fair ones. What are you doing?
I think like the Skylar thing, I felt personally was a little out of pocket because this really does not pertain to you.
Facts.
Like, little girl.
You're
like,
a child.
You're a child. The Virgil thing obviously is a lot more understandable. What bothers me is, and I am a kid of divorce, and so and it was not a clean divorce. So, like, parents, y'all gotta remember, like, this is your kid, and that's their parent, and you can't just be saying any damn thing because, like, that's still their parent. And so to see Virgil's anger towards his dad for a minute, and then his anger towards Nola, and it's like, Cheryl, you need to. Is that her name?
Cheryl, yeah.
Cheryl, yeah. Like you
insert
really,
generic white name.
Even though you're hurt, and it's an understandable hurt. That's still your kid, and that's still their father, and you still have to like.
Virgil shouldn't know Nola's name.
Yeah, he absolutely shouldn't. He shouldn't know her name. He shouldn't know. I mean, he can know the dad, messed up or whatever, but he shouldn't be. There's just some stuff, like, I understand kids are smart. I was that kid, but, like, there's some stuff you just need to let not.
Yeah.
We should not know the ins and outs of your failed relationship.
Yeah. It was a lot, but I did appreciate the conversation he had with his parents, and even little Miss Skylar sassing her way and then bringing Nola. And Nola stuck up for him. Was like, no, it was just a headphones thing. See, I'm petty. I would have been like, tell your daughter before I slap you for her. She not grown. But, obviously these two kids are hurt. But I just feel like, stay in a child's place. But it is what it is. But I love the acting of these two kids. And I just love seeing them on both episodes. And I think we're going to see more of them. And I would love to see more of the kids. We get an amazing performance at the end of this from the one and only Mars. We love him. Before we get into that, Mars's horoscope sign. What do you guys think Mars is?
Okay.
This is so hard because he is so kind and generous and loving, but I don't think he's grounded. I still think he's like, I feel like he has to be like a Cancer or something, but then at the same time, he's too flamboyant for Cancer. So I genuinely think he's like some sort of cusp, like a Gemini Cancer cusp.
Okay.
Something
Gemini
like that.
Cancer cusp. What about you, Drew?
I think he's on a cusp, but I personally think he's like a Pisces Aquarius cusp.
I see that. I definitely
Because I feel like
too.
I'm Aquarius, but I'm towards the end of Aquarius,
right.
And I feel like a lot of personality traits. I'm like, I do that. Like,
Yo, I see.
I actually I do want to now. I'm like totally sold.
Okay.
No, I really am totally sold on this.
So you guys are both saying Aquarius, Pisces. Cusp.
I agree with that just because the Pisces part, he's extremely creative. He's a true artist, but Pisces are also known to be incredibly generous, like very open hands, like
too damn sensitive for me.
And then also there's a part of them that's not very dominant for the males. For the males specifically, Pisces men are not dominant. But the Aquarius men, the really nice thing about Aquarians is that they're like these free thinkers that like, no, it's true. They really are free thinkers where
we don't give up.
For them, they care so much about principle and like systemic injustice. And it's always about like the greater good. So it's like Oprah Winfrey, Aquarius, and like Ellen DeGeneres, Aquarius. It's like usually the people who are like in charge, but they also have like, they're like, I'm not going to be on this team. Right. I'm going to be on the team. If it means being oppressed, I'll still be with these people and I'm not going to turn my back on them. Yeah. So I definitely,
so you guys are saying Pisces?
100% agree with Aquarius. Pisces, guys. That was so spot on.
I'm going complete opposite. I am saying he is an Aries or a Sagittarius because
I can see Sag more than Aries because he doesn't fight. He's not fighting.
Yeah, Aries are very angry. I see Sagittarius because I see myself and Mars. We're free spirits. We're all over the place. We literally are like, let's just move to the other side of the country. We are procrastinators. I'm dragging myself, baby. We the type that will be like, we know that we have a plan, we have to do things, but we would lose our job and get kicked out of our apartment. And though we were supposed to pay something on time, though it's his sister, it's like, it's not him, but we're also, like, we're couch surfers, some of us, and we have really big hearts. And we love everybody. We're like, I could see him talking to Chloe and talking to Nola because he's like, oh, it's cool. So I see either Sag or Aries.
Also, fun fact about Sages, they have Peter Pan syndrome, which means like they never want to grow up, so they're big kids at heart, and that's like they have a beautiful, genuinely they have a beautiful childlike quality to them, like really, really pure beauty.
I could agree with the Sag.
This is very true. Sagittarius says we don't want to grow up, and Jay-Z is a Sagittarius, and he made the song. I forgot the song he made, but no, Sag is like, people think that I'm younger than what I am, and it's like, it's, you know, we're Toys R Us kids. We don't want to grow up. So I see him being a Sag. But that's just me. You guys let me know what you guys think Mars, Greer, and Jamie are in the comments. But we do get an amazing performance from the one and only Anthony Ramos, a.k.a. Mars, where we hear that beautiful Hamilton voice. Baby can sing. And this is a project that they're doing for the relief for the hurricane that they had in Puerto Rico. And I've been saying this, that Puerto Rico has been a theme in this season, which I love. And of course, Spike showed the real life pictures from the people who are still struggling from this hurricane, because though Puerto Rico is part of the United States of America, we as Americans, you know, we're not treating it like it's our sister. So
because it's not a state, but it's under U.S.
It's under U.S. and
I believe it's a territory.
But not that it would matter, because Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. It's
Facts.
brown people.
Listen,
it's the truth.
The ones that are states, we not taking care of them either. So to have Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans feel like we kind of left them. But I love that Fat Joe was in the scene, because, you know, Fat Joe and Jay-Z teamed up, and Jay-Z gave Fat Joe that plane and they took it to Puerto Rico. So I love seeing this. I love her speaking Spanish, the Puerto Rican flags. It's amazing. What do you guys think of this whole experience?
It's
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, no, it's definitely beautiful, because it's like, how often do we get news coverage of this? Like, we did have news coverage of the devastation, and there is like the repetitive, like, you know, 24-hour news cycle where we see it, but then we just don't care after they stop covering it. And like, why aren't we covering it anymore? Why don't we cover Flint anymore? Why don't we cover different places anymore? Because it's not like captivating, because we already talked about it, and it's like, it's just always about the next story. It's always about sensationalizing something. And meanwhile, there are all these terrible things happening that we can do something about. But people are just not being pushed to think about it, because our media dictates what we think about. It really does. Like, if you're tuned into the news, or if you're tuned into social media, the things that are posted everywhere, like, those are the things that we think about, unless you go out of your way to research things on your own, and you have that, like, luxury of time where you're not, like, working a 1,000,000-hour work week trying to, like, get the basic necessities for your kids, and you have that luxury of time where you can think about these things and think, how can I help?
Right.
I mean, but it's also because this country doesn't care about blonde or brown and black bodies, because, I mean, I remember when that little white kid got bullied at school, which we found out he was dropping the N-word all day, but whatever. He got everything he needed in a matter of hours, and then some. Puerto Rico, realistically, could have been handled and fixed within a matter of weeks, but this country doesn't care. And so here we are, a year and a half, 2 years out, and Puerto Rico, half the country still doesn't have power. Half the country is, you know, still misplaced. I mean, if you think about New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, that was 10, 15 years ago. Sheesh. And that's my mama's hometown, and they're still trying to put their lives together. Flint, Michigan would have taken a couple million and we would have been done with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this country doesn't care about the people who are the backbone of this country. And so therefore it's going to continue. And I love that Spike Lee was very unapologetic and gave this to fans and people of the people of Puerto Rico, and it was just kind of like, we didn't forget you.
Yeah, it was really dope. And he did the same thing not last year, the movie Black Klansman. He did an amazing job at the end when he showed the photos where that young lady was murdered and ran over by those weirdos and those stupid tiki torches. Like, and Spike showed real footage at the end of the movie where, like, when you're done watching Black Klansman, you think it's over, you're literally in your seat like, wait, what? And he shows it, and I love that Spike Lee does that. So I was happy that he showed the real photos, real devastation of Puerto Rico and what's happening. I just love seeing the Puerto Rican flags, and I just love that he gave Puerto Rico a voice in this episode. And it's kind of been the theme, like, because we're 6 episodes in now, and we've been saying Puerto Rico, and I think that's what he's talking about. You know, Spike's really political, and
he about that life.
He is about that life. So that was a great episode, and Mina is going to share our top 3 favorite moments of episode 6.
Okay, so the top 3 moments of episode 6, obviously when Opal's kid comes and confronts Nola and drops the F-bomb and is very being assertive about getting to the facts, which are none of her business, none of her concern, but she wants to know the truth. That is some serious investigative journalism right there. So I definitely appreciated that. Obviously, the Puerto Rico devastation and shedding light on something that was so important, as we just discussed right now. And finally, Mars's performance at the very end, which, oh my God, I was like about to tear up because it was so beautiful, and I was just watching it like, damn.
That voice.
That was beautiful. We saw a totally different, like we just saw like through that performance, like so much beauty and grace and heart, and it's like his character throughout the entire show, but in musical artistic form. So those were the best moments.
Really great. Thank you, Mina. Thank you, Drew, for handling those moments from episode 5 and 6. Great 2 episodes. I'm really excited. I can't wait to watch the next 3. We have 3 more left because there's 9 episodes this season. But let's wrap this out and let's do some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit ago, but the conversation between Black Brits and Black Americans has really had Twitter ablazing, so much so that even some Black British actors got in on the conversation. John Boyega commented just a simple trash when the scene came about. And yeah, a lot of people have been feeling a lot of different types of ways. This has definitely been an argument on Twitter all day today.
Damn.
Both sides have valid points, but yeah, it's a hot mess for sure.
And like you said, I just wish as any community, any race, anybody, that we can just all get along, and not the whole get along because that's so corny to say, but instead of debating about who was more oppressed and who went through this, like we all was oppressed. Yeah. Let's now all come together and figure out how we can make it work for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. I do think conversations like this are important because I think people's opinions, it's your opinion, and no one can change your opinion. That's something I do hate about social media. When someone says they have an opinion, everyone thinks that they can change it. No, you don't agree. Tell me why you don't agree. Let's have an adult conversation and let's agree to disagree and let's keep it moving. But shout out to you, John. My homeboy said trash. He's British and he's Black. So that's his opinion. That's his thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think he's saying the show's trash, but I think he's saying the conversation is trash. Yeah. Really good 2 episodes. Let's do predictions. Let's do some predictions because we only got 3 episodes left, and let's just see where you guys think this is gonna go.
AfterBuzz TV predictions,
which is insane that there's only 3 left. I'm like, no, give me more. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I think obviously the whole chasing down Cheryl's boy toy is gonna come back and haunt Jamie, or someone's gonna take the heat for it, and it's gonna put another person of color in prison for something that they didn't do. It's gonna be something like that. It might get pinned on the wrong person, or who knows what's gonna happen. But I don't know what else. It's so hard for me to think. I just want to see more of the kids because the kids honestly make the show so great in my eyes, and I also love the musical performances. So if we could see a little bit more of that, that would be great. I love the conversation about abortion that went on where she's like, oh, being the feminist that I am, I could do whatever I want. And he was kind of like, well, yeah, but what about me?
What about me?
Yeah. You didn't even let me know. So I don't know. I like that all these topics were being tossed around, and I'd like to see more of that.
Nice.
I don't think Puerto Rico's done for. I feel like it's gonna continue to be incorporated in the episodes, which I'm here for. And I feel like Jamie and Nola have to have some type of confrontation eventually, and I thought it was gonna happen at the Prince.
Oh my God, I got
parade, but I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, I definitely think it's coming, and I would like for Nola to confront Cheryl's ass in her face. I do definitely see Greer asking for a threesome with Nola and his new Amber Rose boo. I see that coming. And I would just like to see something good happen for Mars because Mars is going through it right now, and he's struggling, so I would like to see him overcome, and I would like to see where him and the whole Chloe thing goes. And also I would like to see the whole Shemeka and Winnie situation.
I'm so proud
because I ship them, so I'm happy. Shemeka's going through it, she's healing, and I think Winnie wants to be a part of that healing process, so I would like to see that. All right, ladies, great episodes. We held it down. We did 4 episodes. We're kicking it, so we will be back. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We will cover episodes 7 and 8, and possibly 9. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll let you guys know. Ladies, let the fans know where they can find you guys at on social media.
Hey everyone, you can find me at Mina Makes Magic on Instagram and Twitter.
And you guys can slide into the DMs anywhere at OKDrewJ.
You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom. And also, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys give us a thumbs up and you guys review and comment and let us know what you guys think, because we really do appreciate you. If you are Spotify or iTunes or SoundCloud, make sure you guys give us 5 stars or 1. I don't want to tell you what to do, but just let us know how you feel. We love you. We're here to please you. Again, you can find me on social media at Kiki Boom Boom, Black Hollywood Live. Okay, wrong show. AfterBuzz TV. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. My brain's all over the place. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos. You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.